Jewelry. Walk onto a football pitch wearing a necklace or earring, and you won't make it past the referee's pre-match inspection. Take it off or you don't play. That's the ultimatum given to every footballer, from Sunday League to the World Cup final. Even wedding rings must go. The rule exists because in the chaos of a header challenge or desperate sliding tackle, a dangling earring can be ripped out, a necklace can strangle, a ring can shred an opponent's skin. While some players have tried to skirt the rules, hiding thin necklaces under tape or slipping rings into their socks during inspections, referees have become vigilant detectives, conducting thorough body checks before kickoff. For the modern player, the message is clear. Leave the bling in the locker room. Snood. In European winners of 2010 and 11, a curious fashion trend spread across the Premier League. Carlos Tevez and Samir Nasri, star players, wrapped their necks in circular scarves called snoods. These neck warmers became a style statement until FIFA president Sepp Blatter deemed them dangerous and put it to a vote. Football is a man's game, some critics sneered. Others worried about the choking hazard if a snood was grabbed during play. In March 2011, the International Football Association Board unanimously banned them, effectively ending football's brief love affair with the cozy accessory. Electronic communication devices. The manager's been speaking directly to his midfielder through a hidden earpiece. Such scandals have forced football to explicitly ban all electronic communication devices on the pitch. Smartwatches, earpieces, microphones, anything that could give a team unfair tactical advantage is prohibited. Unlike some American sports where coaches can speak directly to quarterbacks, football insists that once players cross the white line, they're on their own. Only the referee's communication system is permitted. This hasn't stopped creative attempts to circumvent the rules, coaches sending coded hand signals to staff using colored boards with numbers. In the age of technology, football remains stubbornly old-fashioned in this regard, believing that players should think for themselves rather than become remote-controlled pieces on a tactical board. On-player cameras. Referees now sometimes wear body cameras to document their perspective. Players themselves are strictly forbidden from wearing any recording equipment during matches. No GoPros strapped to headbands. No tiny cameras embedded in shirts. This ban, enshrined in Law 4 of the game, exists partly for practical reasons. A camera could injure an opponent during physical contact, but also for privacy and integrity purposes. Football's governing bodies want to control all match footage, not have players creating their own personalized highlight reels. Performance-enhancing drugs. It was just medicine for a cold. That's the excuse many footballers have given when caught with prohibited substances in their system. Unlike some sports where doping scandals dominate headlines, football projects an image of relative cleanliness, but the reality is more complex. FIFA follows the World Anti-Doping Agency's extensive prohibited list. Anabolic steroids, EPO, human growth hormone, and countless other performance enhancers are banned. First-time offenders typically receive 2-year suspensions, effectively ending some careers. High-profile cases like Pep Guardiola, banned for nandrolone while at Brescia, and Andre Onana, accidentally taking his wife's medication, demonstrate that even unintentional use offers little protection. Recreational drugs. The morning after a night out, players across leagues face a nervous moment, the random drug test. Cocaine, cannabis, MDMA, and other recreational substances are prohibited in football, not primarily for performance reasons, but for the sport's image and players' health. Football has witnessed infamous cases. Diego Maradona's cocaine-fueled downfall. While performance-enhancing drugs might help win matches, recreational drugs typically destroy careers. Masking agents. The chess match between dopers and testers extends beyond traditional drugs. Football bans an entire category of substances whose sole purpose is helping athletes cheat the system. Diuretics and masking agents, medications that dilute urine or interfere with testing procedures, carry the same penalties as the drugs they're designed to hide. The logic is simple. Why would a clean athlete need to manipulate their test results? When Manchester City's Kolo Touré received a 6-month ban in 2011 for using his wife's diet pills, which contained a prohibited diuretic, it demonstrated that even substances not taken for performance can end up derailing careers. Removing jerseys. Scoring a crucial goal and ripping off your shirt in celebration is banned. Since 2004, this spontaneous act of joy carries an automatic yellow card. The rule has created countless scenes of players starting to lift their jerseys before suddenly remembering the consequence, awkwardly pulling them back down mid-celebration. FIFA implemented the ban ostensibly to prevent time wasting, but many suspect the real reason was to protect lucrative sponsor logos from disappearing during the most watched moments of matches. The rule has particularly frustrated players from cultures where shirt removal signifies giving everything for the cause. Mario Balotelli famously challenged the rule after a goal against United by removing his shirt to reveal the question, "Why always me?" accepting the yellow card as the price for his statement. Masks and props. Once upon a time, football celebrations were theatrical productions. Players would pull masks from their socks. Ravanelli's Black Hood, Aubameyang's Spider-Man mask, Cuauhtemoc Blanco's wrestling persona. FIFA and leagues worldwide now prohibit such elaborate celebrations, deeming them as unsporting behavior worthy of yellow cards. Such celebrations waste time and potentially provoke opposing fans. The result has been a sanitization of goal celebrations, with players limited to choreographed dances, signature poses, or pointing to names on shirts. Some still risk punishment for memorable moments, Erling Haaland's meditation pose or Messi holding up his shirt to the crowd. But the era of creative celebration props has been largely legislated out of the professional game. Climbing barriers. The instinct is primal. Score a last-minute winner and leap into the arms of your adoring fans. But in modern football, jumping into the stands or climbing perimeter fencing carries an automatic yellow card. This prohibition emerged from legitimate safety concerns, crowd crushes, potential confrontations with away fans, and the risk of players being injured in the ensuing chaos. The rule became stricter after incidents where celebrations spilled over into altercations. Exceptions occasionally occur. When Sergio Aguero scored Manchester City's title-winning goal in 2012, his fence-climbing celebration was deemed worth the caution that never actually came. For most players, though, the barrier between them and their fans remains one that cannot be crossed. Political gestures. FIFA and most leagues have drawn a firm line. No political gestures or messages on the field. This ban has created countless controversies. Players displaying politically charged symbols to teams kneeling before matches. When Kosovo-born Xherdan Shaqiri and Granit Xhaka made Albanian eagle gestures after scoring against Serbia in the 2018 World Cup, they were fined thousands of Swiss francs. The prohibition exists to keep football from becoming a battleground for geopolitical tensions. Undershirt slogans. For decades, the undershirt was football's secret billboard. Score a goal, lift your jersey, and share your personal message with millions. Players have used this moment to honor dead relatives, make political statements, or simply wish someone happy birthday. But since 2014, all undershirt messages, regardless of content, have been banned. The rule is absolute. No personal, political, or religious statements, no tributes, no jokes, nothing. When Andres Iniesta revealed an undershirt reading "Dani Jarque, always with us," after scoring in the 2010 World Cup final, honoring his friend who had died of a heart attack, such a poignant moment would today result in punishment. Players must keep their personal messages confined to social media, where they don't interfere with the commercial spectacle. Religious displays. Cross yourself before entering the pitch. Point to the heavens after scoring. These common religious gestures remain permitted, but explicitly displaying religious messages is strictly banned. When Liverpool's Cody Gakpo revealed an undershirt reading "I belong to Jesus" after scoring in January 2023, he received an official warning from the Football Association. The prohibition stems from football's desire to appear secular and inclusive, avoiding potential divisions along religious lines. While players can pray on the field or make subtle religious gestures, anything more overt, particularly written messages, crosses into forbidden territory. Unauthorized sponsors. Football's commercialization has created strict rules about what brands can appear on players' bodies. Only official sponsors, those who've paid substantial sums, may be displayed. Danish striker Nicklas Bendtner revealed Paddy Power branded underwear after scoring in Euro 2012. UEFA hit him with a €100,000 fine and one-match ban, a penalty harsher than many received for racist abuse. This seemingly disproportionate punishment revealed football's priorities, protecting commercial agreements at all costs. Wearing brands that haven't paid for exposure is treated as a serious offense because it undermines the exclusive deals that fund modern football. Gambling sponsorships. Walk through any Premier League stadium in 2018, and you'd see gambling logos plastered across half the team's shirts. Fast forward to 2025, and they've vanished, banned through government regulation and shifting public opinion. Countries across Europe have implemented varied restrictions. Italy banned gambling sponsorships entirely in 2019, Spain heavily restricted them, and the UK has moved toward voluntary removal ahead of potential legislation. These prohibitions reflect growing concern about football's relationship with betting, especially with young fans seeing gambling as intrinsically connected to the sport. For clubs that relied heavily on betting company revenues, these bans created significant financial challenges. Diving and simulation, the theatrical tumble, the exaggerated roll, the agonized expression followed by a peek to see if the referee bought it. Simulation, commonly called diving, is football's most controversial banned behavior. While technically prohibited and punishable by yellow card, it remains frustratingly common at all levels of the game. Certain players have built reputations around their diving prowess, turning minimal contact into Oscar-worthy performances. The prohibition exists because simulation undermines football's fundamental fairness, potentially deciding matches through deception rather than skill. Spitting. Of all football's offenses, few disgust fans more than spitting at an opponent. While most physical confrontations might be excused as heat of the moment, spitting is universally viewed as premeditated disrespect. The punishment is appropriately severe, an automatic red card and typically a 6-match ban, one of the longest standard suspensions in the sport. Frank Rijkaard spitting at Rudy Fuller in the 1990 World Cup, or El Hadji Diouf spitting at Celtic fans, remains seared into football's collective memory decades later. The COVID-19 pandemic further reinforced the taboo, with even spitting on the ground temporarily prohibited for health reasons. Match fixing. The final score was decided in a hotel room, not on the pitch. Football's darkest secret isn't doping or violence, it's match fixing. When players, referees, or officials manipulate results for financial gain, they strike at the very heart of sport, the uncertainty of outcome. Football has weathered devastating fixing scandals. The 2006 Calciopoli scandal that relegated Italian giants Juventus, the 2011 Turkish match-fixing case that implicated multiple clubs, Malaysia's nationwide bans for hundreds of players. The punishment is football's death penalty, lifetime bans that end careers instantly. As betting markets grow more sophisticated, allowing wagers on minute details of matches, fixing has evolved beyond just final scores to spot fixing, manipulating specific events like yellow cards or corner kicks. Betting by players. Players, coaches, and club staff are forbidden from betting on any football match worldwide, even games in completely different leagues or countries. The consequences are severe. When England international Kieran Trippier told friends about his transfer to Atletico Madrid, enabling them to place bets, he received a 10-week suspension. Joey Barton's career effectively ended after he was banned for placing over 1,200 bets on matches over a decade. Third-party ownership. Imagine a player whose economic rights are partially owned not by his club, but by investment firms seeking profit from his future transfer. This practice, third-party ownership, flourished particularly in South America and Southern Europe until FIFA banned it outright in 2015. The prohibition came after 2015 controversial cases like Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano arriving at West Ham through opaque ownership structures, creating conflicts of interest and potential manipulation. Third-party ownership was deemed fundamentally unethical, treating players as financial assets rather than employees. Today, all player registrations must be wholly owned by clubs, with no outside investors allowed to profit directly from transfers.